Welcome into this Reaction Monday. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's what I said. Yeah, so the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, welcome in. Nice and air-conditioned in here and nice and cool. Even wearing long sleeves today because it's nice and comfy in here. It was a little steamy this past Saturday. Not too bad, not as humid as it can be this time of year, so we're still catching a break on the weather for the most part. I'm not saying it's cold or cool or anything like that. I'm just saying we're catching a break for the most part. And hey to you, this is a Reaction Monday, and what that means is the show is yours. All right? Whatever direction you want to go is cool with me. I've got hot coffee in my mug from High Point Roasters. I got Beaver here today on a Monday. What else? Oh, there's another thing. Not only is my football team that I watch and root for and work for, they're 3-0. Not only is that, okay, the Chiefs lost, but, you know, Cowboys did win. So there's a little silver lining in the weekend. But Annabeth came home with a seasonal goodie from the grocery store the other day, in the last couple of days over the weekend. She came home with candy corn. Yes, sir. You know what that means. Pretty soon it'll be, right? I mean, it's September the 15th. That's the middle of September. Like, so pretty soon the leaves will be falling, right? Pumpkins and garden mums out on your front porch and hay rides and Halloween, right? It won't be long. Candy corn. We'll check in with Beaver in just a little bit on the candy corn subject. First, I want to invite you to be a part of the show. You can comment on the live stream. By the way, hey to you, if you're out there in YouTube land or Facebook or X, formerly Twitter, feel free to drop a comment in there. I'd love to hear from you today. So just type it in, post it. It pops up here on the screen, and then I can see it, and you can see it, and everybody else can see it. And when I pop it up there on the screen. You can also text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776. Got it? 885-3776. Text away. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. Now, you can call me, okay, and I got something to say about this. You can call me on the Junction phone line. We always enjoy phone calls on a good old-fashioned Reaction Monday after you've watched the weekend. Ole Miss got a big win. Southern Miss had they thumped App State in that ball game. So on and so forth. I'd love to know your thoughts. You can call me on the Junction phone line. That's Junction Delis all across the great state of Mississippi. Pull in there and, get some food over there at the deli. They're fueled by Prince Oil Company, so you can put some fuel in your gas tank while you're there. Now, my man Philip Prince of the aforementioned Prince Oil Company and Junction Delis all across the state, they got great food, by the way. Did y'all see that Philly cheesesteak sandwich that they were promoting on social? Man, you're talking about looking good. Anywho, my man Philip Prince is a Cowboys fan. Okay, he's a Cowboys fan. Let me repeat that. Philip Prince is a Cowboys fan. And I know that some of y'all have, every now and then you see what he posts on X and on social media during a Cowboys game, you'd think he's not a fan. I called him negative one time. He took great offense to it. He said it's not negativity, he's lamenting different things. Well, they won in overtime yesterday, and he sent me this and asked me to play it on the radio just for him. He wanted me to open the show with this just for him, Philip Prince, the Cowboys fan. And it is some guy named Nix on social media who's also a Cowboys fan, who is singing an original song he wrote to all the haters out there who are always messing with him when the Cowboys lose. He titled the song Still Dim, D-E-M, Boys, with a Z, B-O-Y-Z. Still Dim Boys. I'm playing a portion of it just for Philip. This is just for you.
Ain't nobody calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, are you still involved?
Here, this is for you, Philip.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still involved? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still involved. I'm still involved.
Okay, all right. He says we usually check on him. Prince just commented on the YouTube live stream. By the way, he did hear it. I'm glad you heard it, Philip. So we can all attest that I played it for you at the beginning of the show. Still Dim, D-E-M, Boys with a Z, as in Cowboys. He said, we still dim boys. I'm swaying. So he was swaying back and forth to the music.
Ain't nobody calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, are you still involved?
It's an overtime win over the mighty Giants.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still involved?
I'll tell you this, Philip. You don't.
Check on me. Listen.
I'm checking on you, Philip.
I'm still involved. I'm still involved.
Listen, you don't win the game without Dak Prescott. Okay, there, I said it. I made it interesting to me now. No, I'm telling you, I watched just about all that game, and it was fantastic. Fantastic ball game. So get on in here. Love to hear you. I don't know exactly where to start. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. The first comment I got today was on the YouTube live stream from Sven. So I'm going to come to that. And then after that, I'm going straight to the text line because that's when everybody else started chiming in, was on the text line. But first, I would like to say a good morning to, well, it's actually afternoon. But Beavers 49ers managed to win in NOLA yesterday. And I hadn't talked to him about it yet. Beaver, happy Monday to you. Did you get a chance to see your 49ers win?
There are times when I don't really want to be associated with this show or Jake's show, depending on certain things y'all say. Okay. And that song that was just played, that's one of the that has led to one of those times.
So when I came to you on the show, you debated whether or not to speak at all, basically, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
You thought, I'm going to ghost here and just sit this one out, maybe. My reputation is at stake.
Well,
Beeve, he says, we dim boys with a Z. Overtime win over the Giants.
And who was this?
This is my man, Philip Prince. Now, he didn't sing it. He sent that to me and asked me to please play it on the show just for him. Because he's...
it's sometimes you just need to say no.
Yeah. Like the Nancy Reagan thing back in the just say no.
Just say no.
Well, Beeve, okay. I almost just, sarcastically on purpose used a word that isn't a word, the word irregardless. Have you ever heard someone say irregardless?
So many times. Yes.
It's not a word. It doesn't exist.
Nope.
The word is regardless. You know who used it most recently? Like 2 days ago, Hugh Freeze in an interview.
Oh, of course he did.
Yeah, irregardless. But anyway, Beeve, regardless, I digress. The 49ers, without Purdy, managed to get it done.
Yeah, they did. Mac Jones is... See, I figured he'd be okay. Because Mac Jones is a weird case. Because he has good in him. Mm-hmm. We saw him win an Offensive Rookie of the Year award this first season, but then everything just went downhill after that.
Yeah.
But being with the 49ers, which are a good team, but still missing so many pieces. Let's just go ahead and be honest. It really helps when you're playing against the Saints.
Yeah.
But yeah, for yesterday, Mac Jones, there's that good that was somewhere still in him.
There it
Pop
is.
back up.
There it is. Okay, last thing, real quick, Beeve. Annabeth brought me some candy corn over the weekend. Your thoughts? Right on time? Too early?
You know what I think about candy corn, and you know that it's never too early or too late because there shouldn't be a time for candy corn.
I thought you were going to go a different route and say that, Matt, they actually sell candy corn year round, which is also true. It's just she didn't buy me a bag of it and bring it in the house until it starts to creep towards fall a little bit.
Yeah. Now with that, if you do like candy corn, though,
yeah,
I'm gonna stick with my timeline rule. I would say I won't buy it before a certain time.
Okay.
If I was a candy corn man, you're a candy corn man.
I am. Yeah.
So my timeline rules still apply because I consider candy corn specific for Halloween.
Yeah, I kind of do too. At least I will say this. I like it, but I really don't eat much of it unless it's this time of year. But here's the other thing, B. Does it change it? Last question, and I got to get over here to headlines and football and all that kind of stuff. But B, does it change it a little bit if I take that candy corn, make a mix of candy corn and peanuts, and eat that in September?
So many times I have been told, hey, try candy corn mixed with peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say it tastes like a payday. And I've heard so many people say that, but my response to that is, why wouldn't you just buy a payday then?
Right.
Instead of having to buy both and mixing,
right,
buy a payday if you want the taste.
I know it. If you want the taste. You're right. You're right. Payday might be just as messy, though. I don't know what. Payday is like second only to those granola like bars that you get, the Nature Valley, whatever that is, granola bar, in terms of making a mess. Payday is like second only to that. All right, so here is the plan of attack. Headlines, comments on the live stream, text messages, in no particular order, but the headlines are coming first.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Luminate Bank right here in Mississippi. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. That's mortgagemanms.com. The reason we got to do this first is you have some news, all right? Headline number one. The Southeastern Conference just a minute ago released kickoff times for in 2 weeks. That is the weekend that State's going to host Tennessee. And here's what you have. State hosting Tennessee in 2 weeks will be a 3:15 p.m. Central Time kick at Davis Wade Stadium. They're going to televise it on the SEC network. That same day, the Ole Miss and LSU game is going to be 2:30 on ABC. That same day, in 2 weeks, Notre Dame at Arkansas is going to be an 11 a.m. kick on ABC. That same day at 2:30 on the acronym, you'll get Auburn at Texas A&M. Well, for whatever reason, that's just one of those days where you're going to have a whole bunch of games going on around 2:30, 3 o'clock. State will not get the coveted night game for Tennessee coming in there so as to have a better atmosphere. So there you go. That is what it is. I think there's a lot of people that'll be disappointed with that. The reason being, let's see here. The Alabama and Georgia game, which is an ABC game, 6:30 that night, Alabama, Georgia, that's a 6:30. The reason that you don't have any of these other games, Auburn and A&M or Tennessee and State and Starkville, you don't have any of those kinds of games in the same time slot competing with Alabama, Georgia. That's the SEC specifically doing it for a really defined reason so as to protect the viewership of that for ABC. The primetime Alabama, Georgia game, they want every eyeball on it. They want to get LSU Ole Miss done. They want to get State Tennessee done. They want Auburn and A&M fans done. They want them all watching Alabama, Georgia that night. That's to protect ABC. So that's the reason that State, you're not getting a night game, with Tennessee coming in there. Does that make sense? Okay, other headlines here. You probably know this already, but UCLA fired Deshaun Foster. They started 0-3. They're terrible. Nobody's coming to their games. So second-year head coach, they fired him. Headlines from the NFL. Joe Burrow needs toe surgery. Turf toe. He's out 3 months. Turf toe doesn't sound bad. Anybody who's ever had it, you know how bad it is. It's awful. And this one's probably one you heard too, but it came out yesterday after the Cowboys beat the Giants. Jerry Jones and Steven have signed Jadeveon Clowney to a 1-year deal with the Cowboys to add some depth and who knows, maybe give them some extra pass rush in a situation or two. And those are your headlines brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank right here in Mississippi. All right. Sven was the first comment today. He's on YouTube. He said, and Rudy, talking about Notre Dame, is hopefully eliminated from the playoffs. 0-2 start and still ranked. Remember what I told you last week, Sven, about the AP, Associated Press, and how useless it is? He said these AP voters should put their names behind the votes. He said, I rank Notre Dame where they should be, winless and somewhere beyond 100. Yeah, they're 0-2. They should. I won't waste, Sven, your time again or anybody else's with that same rant, but there's never been a time when Associated Press poll, even coaches poll stuff, in a 12-team playoff era where that ranking's not coming out until October, the ranking stuff you have preseason, early season, it's just useless. It's completely and utterly useless. They're propping it up so as to use it as a propaganda piece to hype up TV games and drive TV ratings. And that's why, you're never, ever going to hear anyone who is employed by a TV company, ABC, which is the acronym, which is the SEC network. You're never going to hear anybody employed by a TV company say those rankings are useless. They don't mean anything because they want to prop them up and use them to help drive eyeballs to their games. Okay, fine. But as long as you know that, that's all it's for. Bama fan texted the show. Here we go. Warp speed. He texted the show. He said, hey, Matt, did you see the wide receiver flea flicker screen that Alabama ran out of the half that Ryan Williams scored a TD on? I didn't see it, Bama fan. I was unable to really watch their game. He said, what'd you think about that play? Roll Tide. Then he said, yup, candy corn. At some point this week, Bama fan, I'll have a chance to go back and, maybe look at some games. I didn't see Alabama's game. Or that part of it. I'm just going to tell you how it went. Alabama was playing at 11 or 11:30. I turned it on to try to watch some of it. And no joke, I think I even posted about this on X. I tried to watch some. I was going to try to watch it. The first quarter on television, there were more commercials than there were football. And I don't think that's actually an exaggeration. I think if we were to go back and time it, you'd be amazed at how pretty much true that is. There were more commercials than football. I couldn't stand it. After sitting through about 30 minutes of that crap, I turned it, found something else. I was like, I'm going to Fox. I don't care what's on. Bama fan and everybody, Southeastern Conference has the best of everything. The fact that its leaders sold its eternal soul and married up with the acronym in perpetuity and entirety is irresponsible. Money, they're paying. Anybody would have. It's a bad decision. Humphreys County Dog says, State fans do not realize how good we have it with you and Neil calling our games on the radio. A friend of mine who never listens to the games on the radio told me he started listening to State and Ole Miss on the radio. And he made the comment that the State commentators are way more professional and do not complain half as much as the Ole Miss ones. Well, and, I appreciate that. And maybe what it is, in a game like the one we had, maybe State we just didn't have as much to complain about. And I've done my fair share of complaining when it was egregious. But I appreciate the compliment. I can't really speak for other radio broadcasts. I don't catch many of the others. Every now and then, parts of one. But I appreciate that. I'm confident that any team that Neil Price is on is going to be one of the best teams out there. And so I'm honored to be on a team with he and Jay. And I do feel like as a team, we do a good job for our listeners because we prioritize our listeners. That's it. It ain't about him. It ain't about me. It's not about some soundbite. It's not about emotion. It's about the listener. And I'm proud that we approach it that way. Just getting started. Reaction Monday. More text right after this. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender. Hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters. connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea, grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi.
And worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt. In the Bureau, we're rolling along here on this Reaction Monday. Y'all can comment, text, or call. If you're looking at the live stream, you can see the numbers at the bottom of the screen. You're welcome to just comment on the live stream also, but call me on the junction phone, 897-1059. That's just like the radio station, 1059. 897-1059. Or text me on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-3776. Austin said, what's your thoughts on State thus far? You know, Austin, I feel like they still can play a lot better than they have. And they're fortunate to be 3-0, you know. I mean, all you can do is win your games, and that's good. They're a much better team than they were a year ago. But they got a long way to go, too. If they want to compete with some of the teams that are coming down their schedule, they're going to have to play a lot better. And we can talk about that. Gene pointing out that on Facebook that it's the first time they're 3-0 since 2014. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, both State and Ole Miss. First time 3-0 since 2014. That's hard to believe, isn't it? I mean, it really is. Humphreys County Dog texts the show. I read that earlier, so I'm moving on. Dog Tired in Florence says, Matt, did you see that 99-yard pick six for USM? Incredible. I did see that, Dog Tired. And how about App State against Southern Miss? What was it? 3 interceptions basically on the goal line. I mean, you would definitely say red zone, 3 red zone interceptions, but I think all 3 of them were basically like on the goal line in the end zone interceptions. One of them went for 6 the other way. You talk about major point swings in the game. So in the early part of the game, see, App State was able to move the ball. You just get down there and throw in interceptions into the end zone. I think their starting QB had 3 interceptions. And then the freshman kid, true freshman out of Tupelo High School that led them to the state championship last year, Noah Gillen got in and played quarterback a good bit in the game for App State. At Southern Miss, 2-1 now. That was a really nice win, conference win for them. Yeah, but that kid, he's basically catching the football, but as he falls down on the goal line, the ball pops up in the air. It never touched the turf. Kid for Southern Miss picks it and goes 99 the other way. I mean, it was really incredible. Real C texted and said, few things that are facts. Here we go. Number 1, it ain't fall yet. No, it's not. It's going to be like, 94 this weekend? He said, number 2, Bluebell pecan pie ice cream is the best I've ever had. Well, we talked about it. I want to try it. I mean, the package just looks good. It is not butter pecan, y'all. No, pecan pie ice cream. Number 3, candy corn is equal to black jelly beans. I love them, he says. Number 4, Ole Miss has got an offense. Better find a defense to uphold expectations. Number 5, dogs are fun again. Hashtag Hail State. Number 6, USM is a Sunbelt giant for what that's worth, he says. And number 7, Cowboys and Saints stink. Signed, peace out, bro. So even in an overtime win, he says the Cowboys stink. What did the Giants have, like 20 penalties? I mean, I don't know what the number was, but it was way up there. I think I stopped counting at like 14, and I know they had some more penalties after that. All right, here we go. Flip it over to the phone line. The Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company. On line 1, we got Mike hanging on. Thanks for calling, Mike. What's up?
How you doing, Matt?
Great. What's up?
Just a question. Is Seydu Traore still learning the game of football, or he's got size, he's got hands, and he's just not not very relevant.
Yeah, Mike.
Just curious your thoughts.
I think that Seydoux, since the first half of the Arizona State game, has been dealing with some sort of he's hurting. I don't know exactly what it is. It's obviously not enough to keep him out, and he's their best athlete at tight end, and so he's in there. But I think what's going on with him is he's fighting through some sort of injury deal that must be pretty tough on him, and they must feel like it's something he can play through and still heal up. But since that point, he hasn't been the same, and they have not used him as much since whenever that happened in that first half of that Arizona State game.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. So who's his first backup?
I think just based on the way they use them, both the kid, the transfer from Indiana, who I think he's number 87, and then Ball, the big 6'7" kid, he wears number 10. I think those guys are like 2A and 2B. You know, they're a little bit different players. I don't know that either one of them are really anywhere close to him in terms of a pass catcher. Like they're not even in his ballpark. But when he's not out there, they go to one or the other, and sometimes they'll use them both. And I think they're kind of like 2A and 2B.
I got you. Well, look, I won't keep you. Thanks.
Man.
Thanks a lot, and really enjoy your analysis during the game.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. Call me anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the phone call. Yeah, Sadie just hadn't been. He'll be fine. I don't think he's, as Mike said, still learning the game of football. I think, he's where he's supposed to be there. I just think physically he's been fighting through some stuff, and he'll be fine. And again, obviously it's not that bad, or else he wouldn't be playing, J-Rock texted, he said, I know it's just one game, Matt. That backup quarterback at Ole Miss looked better than the starter has to me. What are your thoughts? While the numbers look great, I didn't get to see their game. I'll get a chance at some point today or this week to go back and watch the replay of it without commercials, but I haven't yet. But, man, it seemed like he was just on fire. And what a win for them. I mean, you got to win them. Yeah, defensively they got to be better. But, look, Arkansas is going to be a good offense this year. Another year in that Petrino stuff for that same quarterback who's a really good player. So, yeah. That's why you got to have more than one ready to play for stuff like that. Duke texted, he said that song dropped a season or two ago regarding them boys. He said they still suck. That's what Duke said. John in Rolling Fork says the only thing worse than that song is the Cowboys owner. You hear that, Prince? They hate the song. The people hate the song, Prince. Nick texted and said Mickey Loomis needs to be added to the terrorist watch list. Why? The Saints are that bad, huh? It's just, it's just not their year. Millwood texted and he said, hey, guess what I heard in the bathrooms in the club level this weekend at Davis Wade Stadium? Said it was Matt White. He said, I've had season tickets for the last several years, and I never paid attention to what they are piping in through the speakers in the restroom. He said, I was like, that's Matt. Yeah, I guess so. I got to remember, I got to be careful what I say. Hey, one of these days, Millwood, not today, but ask me, and I'll tell you the story about how in the old days when the SEC Network stuff just started and I used to do the baseball games with Bart, they didn't tell us, but like we'd go to commercial on the SEC Plus during a baseball game, but there was no commercial for the audio. They were feeding into like the suites. So anything we said during the commercial, they were hearing it down there in the suites. They didn't tell us. I'll tell you about that one day. Most Superior Unnamed Texter texts the show, of course, and says, good afternoon, Matt. Good afternoon, Beef. Hey, I actually knew some people that took in, that placed a foolish bet that Andre said that Alcorn would score first on State. I'm glad I did the opposite. It was never a contest. Regarding Alcorn, hats off to them. They never quit playing hard. They were really, really outmanned, especially from a speed standpoint. But they never quit playing hard the whole game. Their band was awesome at halftime. The Sound of Dynamite was a lot of fun at halftime. They did shorten the second half on purpose. The coaches decided to do that in the pregame. And Jalen Tolbert, the quarterback for Alcorn, can play. The kid can play. He was at great odds, and still completed almost 70% of his throws, threw a bomb go ball up the left sideline that like he walked it out there to the guy and put it right in his hands, and the kid let it bounce off his face mask up in the air, got intercepted. It was a perfect throw on a go ball. I was impressed with their Q. They've got a quarterback at Alcorn. And they got a good running back too. They really do. They just, they don't have much else. Compared to State, that's the thing. It's just a different deal. Jake from Yazoo says, Matt ran the bus over UCLA with that take. Doesn't hurt my feelings. Get some more coaches out. I need a job. What did I say, Jake? I don't remember what I said. Tommy wants to know, who will Mississippi State have to beat to get in the top 25? It doesn't matter, Tommy. The only rankings that matter are the college football playoff rankings, and they don't come out until October. They're the only ones that I will even look at, because I'm getting older. Life is very fleeting and short in the grand scheme of things, and why would I waste any of the minutes I have on this earth with something that is meaningless, like an AP poll or a coach's poll or something like that? So I'm just waiting on the other. It doesn't matter. Jason in Flagstaff says, I almost universally listen to radio feeds these days, and they're almost universally better than TV announcers, especially the acronyms. But y'all are definitely the best. Well, I appreciate that. He says, y'all gave me the idea to sync radio TV. We gave him the idea. Now, Jason, we've got to come up with some snazzy technology that can be like almost an AI version of syncing up TV and radio stuff and streams. Something that'll do it automatically. We got to come up with that. Cash in, man. You can retire. I can retire. You can move back to 𝐌𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢. Let's just get on it. Airborne Dog said, hey, Matt, 2025, we have an 0-2 team in the top 25. See what I'm telling you? Everybody's up in arms about Notre Dame being 0-2 and ranked in this AP poll. What is surprising about that? They're idiots. Been telling you that for years. You shouldn't be surprised if you listen to this show. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Delis, Convenience Redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton, but we say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country-pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away.
Conversation and tell him what you think. Right now on The Zone 1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Let me turn my mic on. There we go. Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Patrick texted on the Country Pleasing text line. He said Florida's remaining schedule has a possibility of 8 ranked teams left. He said if state keeps winning, it'll be 8. Only non-ranked would be Kentucky. Poor little tadpoles. Yeah, Florida's in a mess. To illustrate that, how about this Dan Mullen stat? Jason in Flagstaff texted it to me with laughing emoji. He saw it on X. Somebody posted, fun stat of the day. Billy Napier would need to win the next 28 games in a row to match the winning percentage that got his predecessor, Dan Mullen, fired. 28 in a row. In other words, not happening. In other words, Florida's pooling its money or figuring that out right now, I would guess. That's what I would guess they're doing. On that note, Sven comments on YouTube. He says, Manning and Lagway are the 2 worst starting quarterbacks in the SEC. Was this? How can a 3A high school kid from Louisiana rank 98 and give him 5 stars? I guess because his name is Manning, and then it says he is terrible. Yeah, he had another bad week, didn't he? I don't know. It's jumping all over. He's really talented. It's just stuff's jumping all over his back. He's confused all the time. They beat UTEP, but it was not beautiful. Hail State fan said, was it Bothwell that got the taunting penalty? Said he seems to do a lot of jawing. Hope he doesn't become a problem, and let's see how he does against SEC teams. Yeah, I don't think you're going to have a problem with him. It may seem like he does a lot of jawing. I would tell you, Hail State fan, my eyes tell me that he doesn't do any more than the other guys, anybody else's does. It's just that he is sometimes after a score. He's had some touchdowns. But the other day, it was really not, they shouldn't have called it. It was, it was for spinning the football, the taunting penalty. That's what it was. We got Jay Perry on our radio broadcast could actually kind of overhear the conversation between referee's explanation and coaching staff. And he's like, he spun the football, and the referee's like, but I felt like he was spinning it at an opponent, and so you go back and look, it's pretty nonchalant compared to a lot of other things. And I think the coaching staff's reaction was, well, I mean, Have you watched these other football games? I mean, my goodness. But anyway, yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that, Hail State fan. Andy commented on YouTube and said, Schottenheimer is proving to be far more competent than McCarthy. And they've only played 2 games for Dallas. But I do think that's true. I do think it's true. However, what if I ask you this question, Andy? How would a Cowboys fan answer it? The Cowboys were better when Jason Garrett was their coach. I mean, weren't they? JS290 says Trevon Diggs got paid and don't play. He's, the knee injury last year, and I think what looks like to me is he's just not the same athlete after the knee injury. That's a tough thing for everybody involved. Andy came back and said if CeeDee Lamb catches the football, Dallas is 2-0. So close. Well, at least they'd be, we don't know, but they would have had a much better chance. Dak made the throws against Philadelphia in week 1. And, man, Dak made some just unbelievable throws yesterday. Really. Like, when you watch an NFL game, you see great throws. These guys are great. I'm talking about for the NFL. He made some unbelievable throws in windows yesterday at times under duress that you're like, what? It's pretty incredible. He's playing well. I don't know, but look, still though, I watched the whole game and I felt like the Giants were the more physical team. Much more. Now, it resulted in more penalties, and I guess that was a huge deal in the ball game. How many penalties did they end up with? I'm going to tell you here. I got to look this up. What are we here? We in week 1 or week 2? Yeah, week 2. Got a whole bunch of games that are going to happen tonight. Let's look at the team stats from that game. Penalties. 14 penalties for 160 yards. Now, the Cowboys had 12 penalties for 106, but 14 penalties for and I guess 4 of those were one guy on the first drive. Man, yeah, and Russell Wilson made some unbelievable throws up the field. But he went to the well one too many times and it hurt him. J-Rock texted us and he said, listening to you and Neil on the radio, watching Georgia, Tennessee, volume down, eating corn and potatoes and country pleasing. That is a good Saturday. Look at that. A plate of corn on the cob, steamed shrimp, or boiled, I bet it's steamed, taters, and some country pleasing sausage. What kind of sausage was it, J-Rock? Was it Cajun or andouille or something like that? Yeah. Come on. Call me next time. Hail State fan said, great win for the Seahawks. Brad on Facebook is asking about Notre Dame being ranked and they're 0-2. Same thing to you, Brad. They just don't pay any attention to AP and coaches anymore. I mean, this year, for the first year, we have a 12-team playoff. We're getting a full-on, meaningful, deep college football playoff ranking. That's the only one that matters. Those people are not paying attention to the AP poll. This stuff right here is just a waste of your time. And the only reason the media won't tell you that and they pretend to, prop the idea up is because it helps their TV companies to drive eyeballs to games. And we can say, we got a top 10 match. Okay, fine, whatever. If you believe that, I got oceanfront property in Pontotoc County I'd like you to look at. But as you know, a great swath of the people in our country will buy anything they'll eat anything that is put on their plate and won't ask any questions. I'm not saying they're dumb. I'm just saying they'll eat anything you give them. Talking about Mullen, Jason in Flagstaff says Mullen's 3-0 out here at UNLV with a completely rebuilt team, while Napier hasn't sniffed a New Year's Six bowl that Mullen took Florida to 3 times. Suggests that Mullen wasn't the problem at Florida, and Napier probably isn't either. Excellent point. Go Gator. Most superior unnamed texter said Russell and Dak, they were going throw for throw yesterday. It was a great game. Man, I'm telling you, watching it, it was 2 quarterbacks making plays, wasn't it? And receivers and everything else. And the kicker. Have you ever seen a kicker like Aubrey? I mean, as good as the NFL kickers are, year after year after year, you've still never seen one that's in his league, I don't think. Now, and this is a pertinent question. Airborne Dog said, any possible players from Virginia Tech or UCLA that you would be interested in, minus the quarterback at UCLA? They have 30 days to enter the portal. They do, okay, like, the rules allow for you make a coaching change, even if it's in season, they got 30 days to transfer. It is within the realm of possibility, Airborne Dog, that there's a player at one of those two schools who's got an agent who gets a phone call from a school that says, look, I know you're in school there. The problem is like enrolling. See, I mean, so explain that to me. Can you transfer from one school and enroll at another mid-semester? What about a grad? See, I don't know the answers to any of that. I guess maybe that would be the one big stumbling block. Wesley on Facebook says, Southern Miss football on the right track. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Now, again, that was a really kind of curious sort of game the other night between Southern Miss and App State. Final score 38-22, so a 16-point win for Southern Miss. One of those is a 99-yard pick six when they're going in the end zone on the other end, obviously, because it's a 99-yarder. I went back and watched kind of like the full-on complete replay minus the commercials of that game. And I felt like the difference in that game was Braylon Braxton, the quarterback at Southern Miss. He was the difference in the game. Let me give you an example. 3 turnovers in the end zone for App State. App State moved the football. App State played 3 quarterbacks. They all moved the football and led touchdown drives. The starter threw 3 interceptions in the end zone. Touchdown drive with the true freshman from Tupelo High School. Touchdown drive. Other kid goes in, 5 for 5, throws a touchdown pass. App State moved the ball. App State, 27 first downs. Southern Miss, 18. Third down, App State, 6 of 18. Southern Miss was 4 of 9. They were a little better. Total yards, App State, 470 total yards to 389 for Southern Miss, and they both moved it. They didn't, rushing. Let's see, rushing total 95 yards for App State. They threw it for 375, but you had the 3 interceptions. They had fewer penalties. They have more yards per play, obviously. So here's the thing. The difference in the game was the efficiency and sort of the clutch nature of this kid, Braylon Braxton, the quarterback for Southern Miss. Otherwise, I'm just telling you, I think they are on the right track. But without Braylon Braxton, the reigning MVP of the Sun Belt Championship game, without him, Southern Miss does not win that game. Kid makes that big of a difference. All right, that's hour 1. It's in the books. More of your comments, more of your texts. We'll hear what Neil Price sounded like on the radio, and all that and more coming up in hour number 2. Staying connected because of C Spire. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille. It's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
Free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Something amazing is happening.
I'm Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down.
Direct and live at the Zone 105.9 and worldwide.
Now, here we go.
At the Zone 105.9.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. Get on in here. You can comment on the live stream. Hey to you. Drop me a comment right there. Facebook or YouTube or X, formerly Twitter. If you comment, I'll see it right here. One nice, neat column. I can then click it and it pops up on the screen where everybody can see it. And you can be a part of the conversation that way, or text me on the Country Pleasing text line. That number, 885-3776. Call me on the Junction phone line. Junction delis across the state, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Number to call, 897-1059. That's 897-1059. So get on in here. Let's see, where do we go from here? All right. Louvier texted the show at the end of hour 1, so he'll start us off here at the beginning of hour 2. He said, as much as I hate the Cowboys, and I do hate them, with the heat of 1,000 suns, he said, I have to admit that their kicker is something different. He said, and so now I'm jealous, and that makes me hate them even more. Go Saints. You ever notice that, Louvier? Like, not always, but so often, about 90% of the time, when there's the presence of some real, sure enough hate, that at the heart of it is some real, sure enough jealousy. You ever notice how those two things run along with each other? All right. Yeah, Wesley, I think I mentioned that. He commented on Facebook. He said Southern Miss football on the right track. Yeah, I think they are. Hail State fan says, my question is where Nico's going to end up. 𝐌𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢, you think he's out of there? Probably. He's probably going to be out of there, I bet. And yeah, where will he end up? I tell you, he won't have that many suitors. He really won't. He's just not shown himself to be what he was cracked up to be coming out of high school. Tennessee, bad, overpaid. They got a good one now. And the kid at Tennessee now, he seems to be humble and glad to be there and plays hard, and he's playing really well. He's kind of easy to pull for. All right, let's go over to the phone line, the Junction phone line, Junction delis across the state of Mississippi, fueled by Prince Oil Company. We've got Derek on line 1. What's up, Derek?
Hey, Matt, what's going on, brother?
Not much. Good to hear from you.
Glad to be on. Look, I got a comment and a question. You made a comment at the end of the ball game that I agree with, man, wholeheartedly. You stated that the kids at MSU are really well coached, and they really want to know what they want to do, and I agree 110%, man. They look good on offense, and again, I'm not basing this off the Alcorn ball game. I'm basing it off the whole season. I've always liked to hire. I was, people have touted Libby as a guy, as one of the next guys up. And for folks that didn't really understand it, the only person that really could have saved that team last year, and I'm being dead serious, was maybe Nick Saban. And the reason I say that, because he could have maybe he'd get some transfers in, but other than that, I don't really care who you hired.
That's right.
He was going to be about what he was going to be.
Yeah.
With the roster that he had. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So, like I said, man, hey, you take care of business Saturday. You got 8 to get 2 to get bowl eligible. But I think they can be a little greedy, Matt, because nobody's super special. Just looking at the conference, nobody's super special. Yeah. I'm not saying we're going to win the conference or anything like that. But I do think we can find 2 and maybe another one and another one. Yeah. Again.
Well, and Derek, what do you think about this statement? I was thinking about it this morning. Against these better SEC teams, State is not likely to string together a bunch of 8, 9, and 10 play offensive drives all of a sudden. But they may have a chance against some of these really good teams are going to play because they can hit the long ball. You know, and if they have a game, you know, you play, I don't know, just name it. You got all these teams that got much better linemen than State have. But if you hit 2 or 3 long balls like you did against Arizona State, anything can happen. That might be what gives them a chance in some of those games.
I agree. I definitely agree that because that wide receiver room and the running back room is probably the best I've seen it in 20 years.
Yeah.
25 years, because you can't man up because you're gonna play yourself if you do.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. You know, that's the route I probably will go to try to get up on some of the SEC teams. I got a question before I get off. Where can I find the fifth quarter show? Because it cuts off on 105.9. Where do I go to find that?
All right. I believe you can do this. Okay, when the game's over and if the radio moves on, I believe you can go to the website, hailstate.com, which is the athletic website at State. And there's a tab at the top that says media. And if you click on media, one of the options is live and on demand. And if anything live is going on, like the post game, I believe they carry it. You can just click the listen live and listen to it right there on the Hail State website, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work. I will try that Saturday.
Okay.
Hey, again, I always enjoy your show, man, and I enjoy you and Neil's broadcast, man. Keep it up in Hail State.
Hail State. Thanks, Derek. Call me anytime. Appreciate that. Yeah. All right. So back to that. Let's get into it. I didn't spend a ton of time breaking State down, you know, in the first hour. But we can go whichever direction you want to go. And if y'all get tired of this, just butt in and tell me, hey, Matt, we don't want to talk about that. That's fine. Whatever. 63-0 is kind of one of those is what it is deals, right? But I did say after the game, the one thing that I wondered and was sort of, you know, up in the air about is still relatively young program that Levy's trying to build, right? So he's in year 2. He's going into game 3 of year 2, and all new players, it seems like this year, with the exception of like 3 or 4 of them. And so I wondered, okay, you have this game where you knock off a ranked team at home and you storm the field the week before, and there's highlights. They're interviewing you on TV shows, and everybody's patting you on the back on campus and telling you how great you are. Sometimes that's a recipe for being really sloppy the next week when you're playing a team who's just not as good as you in any facet, right? And I thought, okay, the normal thing would be for State to have, after the Arizona State game, to have been a little sloppy the next one. That would have been the normal thing. And I said, you know, going in, okay, if they aren't, if they're really sharp or really energetic or whatever, it's going to be a sign to me that maybe you kind of have the right vibe going, you know, shape and use the word belief, but just sort of the right vibe where, you know, you're blocking out all the compliments and all the, you know, all the criticisms, just block all that out, and you're just excited to go play no matter who you're playing. That would be the sign of a mature, good team. Well, they were, for the most part, very sharp. They were really sharp in the pass game, right? 3 quarterbacks combined for 72% completions. You know, 1 running back goes for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns, right? Defensively, you created 3 turnovers. You had big returns in the kick game. State had the most energy. I mean, really, Alcorn State came in, but they didn't have more energy and excitement to start the game than State's guys did. And so I just think, you know, it showed me, too, the ability to go out. You got a team that does kind of what they're supposed to do. And look, let's just say it like it is. We've seen a lot of good teams in the past from State that they would play these kinds of games. And it wasn't that, it was a little all over the place. I mean, you'd win it, 49-13 or something like that under Mullen. But there weren't a whole lot of 63-0s. And so what it showed me is They are very well coached. They are put together. And that gives you hope when you're going to play some teams that they've got better players. Listen, Tennessee coming up in 2 weeks, they've got better players. They got better linemen and more of them. They do. Texas, yep. Better players, better linemen, more of them. Primarily the line of scrimmage is what I'm talking about, linemen. In terms of numbers and all that. Georgia, they got better players. More linemen and more of them. All that, better linemen, more of them. So all that. But if you are a bunch who you've got your own act together, we're not sloppy. Our coaches put together game plans that are smart. Schematic stuff we're going to do based on what they do, that does put our players in a position to, have some success. Players have bought into it. Coaches can snap fingers, get people lined up, and run stuff, and they know what they're going to get out of players because it's a machine. It may not be the big rolling ball of butcher knives that Georgia is, but you got a little machine working here. If I call the play, we're going to run it like it's supposed to be run, and if I'm doing my job as a coach, it'll work. Those kinds of things. And then you do have some within those, some one-on-one matchups. Okay, because like I told Derek, you run up on some of the Georgias and the Texases of the world. There will be a few times where, look, Anthony Evans III can run by somebody. I focused on linemen a minute ago in my statement, but Evans can run by people, in the right matchup, the right part of the field, the right situation. Brennan Thompson can run right by people that those other teams have. You know what I mean? And you get the right matchup, you can sort of exploit it. And if you can hit home runs, you got shape and healthy, you can hit home runs. That's what State's been already. Let's say this too. Even coming out of the Alcorn State game, what stands out to you about Mississippi State's offense? It's the deep ball. It's the long deep ball throw. That's what stands out. The long deep ball throw. Where even if you're a good defense, like, a pretty good one like Arizona State, and really good against the run. Arizona State's really good against the run. But even if you're just pretty good on the back end for a FBS Power 4 type of team, that if you don't guard against it on every play and every alignment, they will run past you and throw it over your head. They're a threat on first and second and third down to throw it over your head. Well, because of that, look at the Arizona State game. You can go for 28 minutes of a 30-minute half and not do much, and then all of a sudden, pew, right over your head. End zone. You see what I mean? Like, the ability to hit some home runs may be the thing about this team that just might give them a chance in some of those games, these teams that have more established programs and more and better players. I think it is possible. They're well coached. They're well put together. Now, that said, Derek touched on it. He said, if you take care of business this week. So, again, they have another challenge new to them, and that is you better not get your eyes off of Northern Illinois. They have not been a world beater this year. They're 1-1. Sorry, 2-1 or one. No, they're 1-1 because they had an off week this week. So they've got 2 weeks to prepare for State. Northern Illinois does. 2 weeks ago, they lost at Maryland. Maryland was up 13-9 in the fourth quarter with like 6 minutes left or something. It was a 4-point game. And then a couple things happened late, and then Maryland wins at 20-9. Also, Northern Illinois is a team that is heavy run on offense. Not like power football, but I'm saying they're out of the spread, even some wing stuff where they run the traps and misdirections out of that. But it's mostly, like zone read and inside zone, wide zone, RPO stuff, but they get to their run game a lot. They are a heavy run team. That's kind of the thing that, they're going to watch the tape of Mississippi State. all 3 games, and Northern Illinois is going to tell their players, hey, we can run the ball on them. If you execute and you're in the right place, we're going to pop some runs. We can run the ball on them. And if you do that, run the clock, it shortens the game, it eliminates a couple of possessions, keep their offense off the field, that sort of thing, put the pressure on State to score. So, and all I'm saying is schematically and with everything going on, even this week, coming into this game where people are saying State should absolutely win it, they have to play better than they've been playing. It sounds like coach speak, but, the offensive line almost gets a little bit of a pass because they've played 3 games and they haven't had the same starting offensive line yet. Southern Miss game, you lose your right tackle for the year. Coming out of the Southern Miss game, your left tackle plays no snaps against Arizona State. You start a left tackle against Arizona State that didn't even make the trip to Southern Miss the first week. You come back this week, and you got a couple that are banged up. You have to rest. You put the hurt guy back out there and move the guy who played left tackle back over to right tackle. So 2 weeks earlier, he didn't even make the game trip. The week after that, he starts at left tackle. Then this past week, because it's Alcorn, he starts at right tackle. So you get a little bit of a pass maybe on some of the lack of continuity and consistency in the run game stuff. But at some point, excuses are gone because there's no time for it. Tennessee's in town or something like that. Those things can stack up on you. Hey, let me give you some highlights from the game. Everybody's talking about the radio call. This is what if you didn't hear it, this is what some of the touchdown plays sounded like on the radio Saturday evening with Neil Price, the voice of the Bulldogs from Learfield.
Chapin gets that shotgun pass back, going deep again. This time it's Mosley behind the defense at the Alcorn 30, makes the grab 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Mississippi State on the second play of the game, a 75-yard strike to Jordan Mosley, and it's 6-0. State goes quickly, Chapin, hands, Bothwell off right tackle to the 2, to the 1, runs through a man at the goal line and scores. Touchdown, Fluff Bothwell. And State stretches the lead to 13-0 with 9:15 left in the first. Chapin is the quarterback, tosses it to Taylor, rolling right. Taylor's going to throw, has a man, Thompson at the 1, who reels it in and scores a razzle-dazzle touchdown. One quarterback tosses to another, and Camario Taylor throws his first Mississippi State touchdown. Brennan Thompson reels it in to make it 20-0 State with 8:02 left in the first. State leading 21-0. Chapin takes the shotgun snap, fakes the handoff, running right, nobody's going to touch him. Chapin scores at the pylon in the front right of the end zone. Touchdown, Mississippi State, the first rushing score for the Bulldogs signal caller this year, and it's 27-0 Bulldogs with 5:12 left in the first quarter. Empty backfield, Chapin in the gun. Takes the snap, throws over the middle. His man's wide open. That's Evans. Catches it at the 10, to the 5. He'll angle right and walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Anthony Evans. And State stretches the lead to 34-0 with 7:20 left until halftime. 2 receivers and a tight end left, single receiver right. Handoff Bothwell with a seam off right tackle to 20. Fluff to the 10, to the 5. Lowers his shoulder and runs into the end zone. Fluff Bothwell takes it downhill and to the house. And with 3:50 left in the first half, State stretches the lead to 41-0. Kromenhoek, the quarterback, takes a shotgun snap, hands to Xavier Gayton, straight ahead, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Mississippi State. The Bulldogs wanted 6 on their first possession, and X gonna give it to them with 5:53 to play in the third quarter. State leads at 48-0.
Yeah, and so, up big and put some people in. Camario Taylor got to play and make some throws. I I thought one of the more impressive throws from Camario was when he's rolling out of the pocket to his right, second half, and makes this little flick of the wrist, throws a dart at about 25 yards, completion up the field as he was running to his right. But the play came back for a penalty, so it didn't stand. And but it was good to see him in there. And if you're just tuning in, something I said in the second half of the ball, in the first hour of the show today, but watching, first and second half of the ball game, they played Tolbert the whole way at quarterback until right at the end. But Alcorn State has a quarterback. Tolbert, he was cool. And, State had one sack in the ball game. They did have a bunch of TFLs, but it wasn't like they were stacking up sacks throughout the game. So that's part of it also. But Tolbert was cool. He stood in there. He was obviously, sort of his team overmatched, but he made throws. He goes for 11 of 18, had the one interception, but it wasn't his fault. Hit the one interception. You know about stats can be misleading. This was in the first half, and Alcorn beat one of State's corners on a go ball up the sideline, just outran him, and it was a perfect throw. You cannot throw a go ball any better, again, in a tight window up the sideline at about 45, 50 in the air. I mean, the receiver looks up and the ball hits him in stride, right in the palms, and it bounced off his hands, hit his face mask, pops up in the air, and stayed intercepted. But it was a beautiful throw. I mean, the kid, Tolbert, I thought played well in spite of all the circumstances. And the running back was not bad either. It was pretty tough. But State, really outmanned them. Anyway, that's what it sounded like on the radio from Neil Price. Speaking of, Andy commented on YouTube. He says, Matt, you may not realize it, but yours and Neil's calls are fantastic, and they've become the sound of Mississippi State football, just as Jack Crystal was for the generations before. Keep it up. Now, Duke commented, and he caught the reference. Neil, when who's the kid? Xavier Gayton had the touchdown run, who, by the way, when he runs, that kid can just glide. I mean, he is like on skates. He is fun to watch run now. He's got to thicken up, but still, I mean, he can run. Yeah, he scored that touchdown run, and Neil quoted DMX. He said, X going to give it to him. And I saw Jonathan Eaton, our spotter, start giggling. I didn't get the joke. I didn't catch it. I didn't know what he was talking about. And they had to explain to me during the break, and Neil looks at me and goes, you never listen to DMX? I was like, oh, yeah. Now I get it. But I think they both were a little disappointed that I didn't catch it at first. Eventually I got it. I'll come around. All right. Rolling along with you here in hour number 2 in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
Hey, if you're looking for a deal, then look for the orange tag at Cowboy Maloney's home store.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh.
Got man Wyatt.
Oh, I am starving.
Don't worry, he's got a menu full on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at the Zone 105.9.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team. Lots of comments here on the live stream on YouTube and Facebook. On YouTube, we go there. Hail State fan says, how relevant have our tight ends been? I've watched MSU since 1978. There were several seasons they were barely used as a pass catcher. Yeah, that's true. And then there's been some unbelievable, moments. And, thinking about Kendall Watkins, caught the big 300-pound tight end, caught the touchdown against Tennessee in '94. I was there as a recruit that day. Thinking about the game that Reggie Kelly, tight end, had against Alabama in '96. The game he had against Alabama in '97 was after him. Donald Lee played a bunch of years for the Packers in the NFL as a tight end. So we've had some for sure. There's others. I'm obviously going to leave somebody out. We've had some good ones for sure. But one thing about it, Hail State fan, when you think about tight ends too, there was a whole stretch, seemed like in just like an era almost of college football where the true tight ends sort of went away a little bit. There were only a few teams that were recruiting them and using them. Here's what I mean. Do you remember Malcolm Johnson? Played with Dak, who was and played in the NFL some for the Browns, but was technically a tight end, I know, but really in terms of his build and the way they used him, he was really more of a fullback / H-back, but he was kind of your tight end, you see? There was a whole era there where everybody was trying to do that in these spread offenses, go smaller and faster, almost getting back into fullback territory. So it cycles back around. Sven says, a bad week, Matt. He was barely 50%. I think we're talking about Arch Manning here. Or are we talking about... Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. He said, a bad week. Said he was barely 50% completion. He misses guys wide open in 4 out of 5 throws, and that against literally middle schools. Yeah, well, ain't no doubt he's got to play better. I'm not trying to downplay it, but the other thing is, Sven, I didn't watch the game, all I see is clips. And I did learn again this year. I learn it every year, not to make judgments on QBs without watching a whole game. But yeah, he's struggling. You know, first year starter at Texas. You know, he's struggling, and he'll continue to have ups and downs. But you know what, Sven? Listen, those things have happened before to freshman QBs. I know we're in a different era. I know there's more pressure and therefore more criticism because you're paying them lots of money to come play for you. But, you know, I can think about a bunch of them. Bo Nix flashed a few. And I guess I say freshman. I guess what? Technically he's a sophomore, but he redshirted last year. I would guess he did. Or did he? So I guess he's a second-year player, just first-year starter. But you think about Bo Nix. His first year at Auburn, they throw him to the wolves out there, and he did some really good things and then some bad things. And almost anybody, not all, but almost anybody you put out there early in their career as a starting quarterback in the SEC, they hit a sophomore slump. Whether it's the sophomore, junior year, they almost all hit it, you know, at some point. And even it happened to Bo Nix, and everybody wrote him off. And I used to do interviews with, I don't really do them anymore. I just stopped saying yes because I don't like doing them as much. But I don't have time as much. But I used to do more interviews. I remember telling some of the guys on the shows in Alabama, look, Bo Nix, he absolutely looks like the kind of guy that, and he'll struggle with this or struggle with that, and they just keep playing through it because he's a good athlete and a tough kid, and by the time he's a senior, he's leading the country in passing, and the next thing you know, he go play in the NFL. And that's what happened, you know, but boy, they sure wrote him off at one time too. So I don't know, like writing him off, I don't know. I mean, we're not idiots, Sven, you and me. I don't think we're not idiots. We see what we see, but at the same time, Sark and those guys, they know what they're doing. If he completely stunk and was completely incapable, he would not be playing for him. Yeah, Will, regarding the spinning the football personal foul celebration, he says, oh, don't be spinning those footballs at people. Wouldn't want somebody to get their feelings hurt. Andy said, I am a Cowboys fan. Schottenheimer is better. We put focus on running the ball more. It helps Dak, and it does. That's what I was saying, though. I mean, were the Cowboys better when Jason Garrett was their coach? I know it's the first year for Schottenheimer, so we're about to see. They were definitely better in those Garrett years than the previous deal. What's his name? McCarthy? Hey, it was just always a mess. Hail State fan said Florida threw more interceptions against LSU than 121 NCAA teams have thrown all year. Well, let me just tell you, Hail State fan, I would like to speak to DJ Lagway and just let him know that I can speak from personal experience that you can throw 4 or 5 interceptions in a game and live a happy life. And everything turned out just fine. It can happen. Don't get too down about it. It's just football. Rotor Wash texted us on the Country Pleasing text line and said Manning is going to be fine. He had a bunch of hype, but he would not be at Texas on name alone. Nunya on the tight end subject said, we really need the tight end room to be a viable offensive contributor. Well, I agree with that. You know, and the tight end room is responsible for the first touchdown of the year on a go ball. But I do think Traore, he played a lot of snaps. He may have gotten kind of bumps and bruises and stuff that he's trying to play through and work through since about the first half of that Arizona State game. And so I think that may be part of what's going on with him. And the other side of it is this too, Nunya, you know, let's go straight up hypothetical here. You ready? Just a total hypothetical. 3 games into the year, which is not many, 3 games into the year. And in that second game, in the first half of that second game, let's say your best tight end gets a little hurt. And he's struggling. And all of a sudden he can't be the pass threat that you came into that game wanting him to be. And let's say the others aren't the pass threat that he is, right? And you play around that on the fly. You didn't expect it. You didn't game plan for it, but you play around it. Let's just say if that's the case. Well, then you're playing a third game in a game where you don't really need to divulge all kinds of things that you may do down the road with your tight ends in order to win the game, right? So, but you're going to play some teams real soon that it would be great to have some looks and some packages and some tight end uses that you kind of have worked and ready to go and ready to use it when you want to. You just haven't put a whole lot of it on film. And pull that out on a key 3rd and short or a 4th and 3. You see what I'm saying? So there's gamesmanship for all these teams too. When you're in a situation like this where you're 3 games into the year, 2 of those 3 were teams that just didn't have the players you have, and 1 upset, you see? So I had, I won't say who it is, but I had somebody who does a radio show who is really sure of himself because at some point, somewhere down the road, some high school offensive line coach let him, help. And that's fine. But a few years ago on his show, we were talking about a Mississippi State team at the time who's not very good and wasn't going to be good coming into the year. But I made the statement that there are some early games where, depending on the opponent, it could be one that you overmatch. You take like last year. Last year, State was terrible, but they killed Eastern Kentucky, where you'll go into that game and you won't just divulge everything you have and put it on film for your opponents. You'll save it. And boy, he really kind of told everybody on the air how stupid an idea that was, and he disagreed with the idea that State was in a position to hold anything back. Well, they did, and they should, and every team does. And the people in media that don't realize that goes on, frankly, they are the idiots. The thing about idiots, though, is they never believe they are. You couldn't convince them if you showed it to them. Back after this.
We'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille. It's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. We got that. What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roast it right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, tried and true.
1059 and coming to you worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. Coach Spate, I got this text from you as well. He said Taylor is going to be fun to watch in the future. Let me just tell you. Like, you can see it, can't you? It's different. The whole thing looks and feels different. And it's just a matter of ramping him up. And I'm telling you, if things can fall their way, like people stay healthy, and then that way everybody's getting the reps that they intend for them to get to benefit his development and the team all at the same time. If Blake stays healthy, Kromenhawk, everybody, him, Taylor, they all stay healthy. If all that works out, I mean, it's a great situation with a super senior and a guy like Blake Shapen, who, in terms of reading the whole field and seeing where the ball should go, getting it there on time and accurately, Blake is doing an excellent job. And I mean, what an experience for a guy with the talent of Kamario Taylor to be able to see that with his own eyes, field level, every day at practice and in the games, and watch a guy what it's supposed to look like. At this point. And if he can stay healthy, not every young guy has that. Sometimes young guys that are super talented, they watch a guy who's not playing well, and they don't get that picture. Okay. And then because they're not playing well, the young guy gets put in there a lot more earlier, right? The team may need you, and that sometimes that's not the most healthy thing. You have to play through all that. Get you bumps and bruises and earlier. But I mean, if everything stays like it is, a perfect situation for him. Using him in high leverage situations, and when he runs, when he moves, but when he throws the ball, it is different. And here's the thing too, Coach Spate. I've noticed it doesn't matter to him very often whether he's got the laces or not. Now that's I know it's a little more common thing now with everybody. Quarterbacks doing all the 7-on-7. It's all the quick throws and RPO stuff, and there's less of an emphasis on grabbing the laces. Man, he'll throw a deep ball. He don't need to throws it. When he lets it go, it goes. He's something now. When he's in there, Edge of your seat. Hunter says, hey, Matt, what side of the argument do you fall on about a team coming off a bye versus a team playing well? Which team has an advantage in your opinion? You know, honestly, Hunter, the best way to answer that the way I'd feel most comfortable answering it is every situation is different. You know, every situation is different. It's like individuals. There are some teams it serves them better to rest, have 2 weeks to get ready for somebody. There are some teams that it would have just the opposite effect, and they need to keep rolling. So it's just from an honest perspective, I can't really give it one big blanket answer. Aaron says on Facebook, one game at a time, Levy has the guys locked. I think he really does. I think they have the right, to this point, so far, chemistry, team to coach, coach to team, where everybody's on the same page and they're all pulling in the right direction. And, you know, they kind of like each other, which you need to a degree. He said, I was worried about him sleepwalking through Alcorn, but was glad to see that they're taking each week seriously. I was the same way. I worried about that. You know, you wondered, and I was happy to see kind of the way they approached it. It was very, very much like pros. You go out and do what you're supposed to do. Aaron also said seeing Seth Davis back and score a touchdown was awesome. God blessed him to be able to return. Hey, Aaron, also go back and look. When Kromenhawk, the backup QB, scored the touchdown on the zone read earlier down there on the goal line, Seth Davis was in the game, and I think they called it hoping that he would get the handoff on that play. Seth, I think they wanted him to score right there. But the read, the guy went inside a little bit, and so even from a yard away, the read was pull. So he pulled it and scored. And they were glad to have the touchdown. I think they wanted Seth to score. That's the way it seemed to me anyway. Sven's, is this really true? Sven said that Arch Manning's salary at Texas is $8.7 million. Is that right? Whew. Will, you're right. Will said he's going to take a pay cut at that, with that, going to the NFL. Take a pay cut. Man. By the way, did you see the sounds of Dynamite? The Sound of Dynamite, the halftime show from the Alcorn State Band. They were really good at halftime. I filmed some of it with my phone. The State fans loved it. They were ringing cowbells and cheering for them. It was pretty good now. How about it? He said they had their own announcer. He said something about Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade or something like that. Anyway, yeah, State fans loved it and gave him a big ovation. It was great to see it. Jake from Yazoo texted the show, and he said, Beeves, does Matt have a 4-wheel drive bus? He's rolling today. I guess that's because I ran over some person that had interviewed me in the past, but whatever. I'm not bitter. I really am not. I don't care. I'm just telling you. They do that, depending on who they're playing. Rotorwash texted the show. He says, without recency bias, who would be the best ambassador for our school athletic-wise, like Jake or Papelbon with baseball and Dak with football? Anthony Dixon and Smoot have to be up there as well. Basketball, who do you have? Well, basketball, would have to be without recency bias. So, but I don't understand what the question is. I don't quite understand. Is it all time? So we're saying basketball ambassador for the school, like all time? I don't know. Reddy Teddy texted the show. He said, if my salary was $8.7 million, I wouldn't be on social media either. Me neither, Teddy. I'd be like, I mean, as soon as the deposit hit, I would go over here and go like, delete, gone. What happened to Matt? What happened to Teddy? What happened to Matt? I don't know. He's fishing with Teddy. Teddy, you'd big time us? Teddy says he would big time us. He wouldn't know any of us anymore. He wouldn't know any of us anymore, he says. He'd big time us. That'd be fine, too. We would expect it. We didn't even, I mean, in 2 hours, it's just the way it went today. I didn't really even get into all the other stuff. Georgia, Tennessee. I mean, unbelievable game, right? Overtime, 44-41. A&M beating Notre Dame. I didn't see much of that. I just saw the end when on 4th and goal, A&M gets away with a blatant holding. I mean, a poor defensive tackle for Notre Dame. Like, it's dream come true. They slanted to the left. They're stepping the other way. Offensively, it's like a zone fake or protection, slide protection to their left, to the right. So I'm slanting the opposite. So he jumps over 2 gaps because of his slant. They don't pick him up. He steps right through, free to the quarterback. That defensive lineman for Notre Dame could see nothing but green grass and the quarterback with that little red bullseye drawn around him. It's me and him. And like the guard or the center for A&M literally dove, tackled him by the ankles and the knees in the backfield. I'm talking about tackled him. No flag. A&M's quarterback heaves it up to the tight end. They catch it and win the game with an extra point. You won't ever see a more blatant hold. I'm not talking about these holds where it's an obvious hold, but you're trying to block him. That's one thing. Let's say, outside pass rush, I'm the tackle. He's beating me. I'm blocking him, but I grab him, right? I pull him. Okay, well, I'm kind of blocking him, trying to block him. That's when I hold him. This wasn't even trying to block him. This was, I'd rather hold and run another play than let the game end on this because I've blown it. Dove in the backfield backwards and tackled the guy around his legs. No call. But hey, SEC, baby. Just means more. The SEC officials did them a solid right there. So, anywho, that'll wrap it up for today. I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio for Beaver and all of us here on the show. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. See you then. See ya.